everyone. Welcome to our Tuesday nights, the business of gut health. We are so excited to share with you tonight, to share with you one of the sides of Plexus that we don't talk about enough. And that is the amazing business income opportunity and the blessings and life-changing stories that come along with that. So tonight, that is what we're focusing on. You've probably heard so much about our products. We'll touch a little bit on that, but we're spotlighting the business and that need that so many people have and what this has to offer. So we have some beautiful women on tonight. We love to bring you new and different stories every single time we're with you here. So we're going to start off right away with Dr. Stephanie. Now, Dr. Stephanie, can you just start us with a little bit of your background and your story and where you were before Plexus and why you chose this avenue?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for having me on, Amber and Lori. I love doing these calls with you guys and spreading the good news, stories of hope, and in your health as well as in your business. So I will say a little bit more about my background and everything. But before Plexus, I was in private practice, practicing women's health and GYN care for about 19 years now. And it just so happened right around the time I was introduced to Plexus, I had some personal health issues of my own, and I was not working for about 3 months. And so that was a pretty big hit as I am in private practice and on my own. And if you don't show up to work in that situation, you are not getting paid. And then just kind of on the coattails of that came our pandemic. And in my practice, it's interesting, this pandemic, right? I wanted to say some places were busier, but even our hospitals volume is down. But my office has been slower during this pandemic too. And I'm so glad to be well established and running with Plexus during this time, because it has actually grown and the business of Plexus has grown during this time. So I'm feeling super blessed and super lucky for that. But I will just back up a little bit and talk a bit about why I went into medicine in the first place and how this is very relatable and transfers over beautifully to what I'm doing in Plexus. And then also just some of the statistics that I came across today on the business of gut health supplements themselves. So the reason I became a doctor, I always had this vision and the dream, is because I thought it was the most important thing ever to help people with their health. I also wanted to live wherever I wanted to live. I grew up in kind of like a busy city, and I knew there was something better out there. And then I wanted security. I wanted financial security. And I thought the job of physician fit all those categories, checked all those boxes really nicely. But, the financial security part, not so much. And not just for me either. But that kind of leads into the statistics I came across today. And when we're looking at the gut health supplement industry, it is about an $8.7 billion industry. And when we compare that to blood pressure medication or antihypertensive medication, the value of those industries, and these are global numbers, is close to $22 billion. So that's much larger. But what I found really interesting was from 2019 to 2025, what is predicted as far as the compound annual growth rate is that antihypertensives will decrease by about 2.5%, but gut health supplements are on the rise by about almost 9%. So this is very interesting. Are more people just taking control of their health? Are we seeing, just more information coming out and people are hopping on board? Or are we seeing more people taking care of their health and therefore they're not needing those other products as much? That's totally presumptive, I know, but it is food for thought. And just a few other kind of references to how the business of Plexus compares to the medical business, at least in my experience, goes back even to when I was in residency. And this is a time all doctors go through it, where you are working like 80 to 90 hours a week. You are working 36-hour shifts. You don't sleep, you eat walking down the hall when you can. It's a real crazy time. And my colleagues and I did the math one night, and when we figured out our hourly wage, it was about $5 an hour. So, and that might even be inflated. We were really tired when we did that. So it was probably even less than that. But Plexus does give you an opportunity to earn while you learn. And I'm pretty sure it's better than $5 an hour. Second thing, once I graduated, I went into a practice as an employee. And I thought, this is great. I'm helping other people. I picked the place that my husband and I want to live, and I have a steady income. But what I didn't have was time freedom. And at that time was when I had my first baby. And that was heartbreaking to me to not have a choice. I could have, I guess, thrown the towel in and gone for broke, but I really didn't have a choice in my business. I had to pull a certain schedule. I was on call certain times, and that's how it worked. And so shortly after I had my second baby, I decided to go out on my own into private practice. And this may, compare to Plexus a little bit more closely in that you are a business owner, but there is that careful distinction versus being the owner of a business. And in my experience, even though I had my own practice, quite frankly, I was working for the insurance company because they determined what I got paid. And so it would kind of be like if you sign someone up for a welcome pack and then Plexus came back to you and said, no, that person didn't really need that welcome pack, so we're not going to pay you your commission. So this was the kind of thing I had encountered all the time in my business in private practice. And so now I'm so happy to be well on my way to the financial freedom component. And I'm already enjoying some of the benefits of that, through the time when I had to take off of work and through this pandemic where I've still had a paycheck coming in. So just to kind of bring it full circle, in working the business of Plexus, I am very much helping people, and in my opinion, in many ways, in an even deeper, more foundational way and more important way. I am able to live wherever I want to live. And there is that, hope towards financial freedom and time freedom, both of those things, which I'm already starting to enjoy. So I would really encourage everyone to have an open mind and take a look at this business.
Thank you. That was amazing. Thank you so much, Stephanie, Dr. Stephanie.
You're welcome.
I love that you brought out the time freedom, but being able to help people, which is what your heart is for. And then the residual income aspect too, because as a doctor, when you're working one-on-one with a client, you're getting that income, but not when you're on vacation, not when you're sleeping. The other day, I'm a mom of 3 little ones, and I said the word residual. I was talking to somebody else, and my 8-year-old son said, "What's residual? And I was like, well, it's residual income. He said, well, what's that? And I was like, well, right now when I'm sitting here making dinner, I'm making money. He's like, how? And then I got to explain to him, and his mind was just, as an 8-year-old. But and that's the beautiful side of residual income, of being able to have that with time freedom, helping people. And I love that. That is why so many of us choose the business of gut health with Plexus. So thank you so much for sharing that.
You're welcome.
Did you want to throw in anything or?
No.
Okay. All right. And this is my beautiful mother. For those who are new watching tonight, this is my beautiful mother, Lori Welch, and she's from California. I'm in Tennessee, but she's here visiting me. And so we get to do this together. So with that, I'm going to move over to Rosalind. If you would please share with us your Plexus, business of Plexus story.
Absolutely. Hi, thank you so much for having me tonight. My journey actually started back in June of 2013. I had been introduced to Plexus by a handful of my girlfriends who had all jumped in and were, using the products, and they were doing the business, and they were doing all the things. And at that time, I was in advertising. I had a 19-year career as a media director, worked at ad agencies all over Dallas, owned my own ad agency at one time, worked in-house for Dr. Pepper, worked for British Airways, worked for Owens Country Sausage, major international brands. And that had been my whole career. So at the time when Plexus entered my life, I was working about 40, 50 hours a week. I was exhausted. I had 2 kids. I was crazy busy. I had very little margin in my life. So all my girlfriends, of course, they're all starting Plexus, and they're all over me. They're like, Ross, you totally have to do this with us. And I'm like, absolutely not. I was a massive skeptic, wanted nothing to do with it. I'd never been involved in network marketing. And I had a lot of preconceived notions of what I thought network marketing was. And that was not who I thought I was. A lot of pride going on there. I was all about no. And they kept after me and kept after me. And I sat back and watched month after month after month. And the crazy thing was, they were all getting very healthy. They were losing weight. They were dropping medications. They were doing all this incredible stuff, but they were also making really good money. And back in the day, we got these paper checks, and they would walk into my office and they would slap it down on the table, and they'd be like, boom, and walk out. And I'd be like, you are kidding me. You really made that much money doing what you're doing. And I still roll my eyes at them. I was like, whatever, they're all just jumping off the bridge. I'm just waiting for this to go under. I mean, this is stuff I said to them, like really great friend. And they were all just like, Ross, you just got to do this. And, it wasn't until my husband kind of brought it up to me one day, he's like, babe, why don't you give this stuff a try? And I'm like, oh my gosh, you too? Seriously? And he's like, well, babe, you know what if this could help our son? And I have a son, he's high functioning on the autism spectrum, and he was needing a brain mapping therapy that was going to cost us about $1,000 out of pocket every month. And our insurance company refused to pay for it. And so, my husband, he was a software engineer, worked very hard. I worked very hard. And we could never keep our nose above water. Like, no matter what we did, we never had enough money at the end of the month. And we'd make a little money, and then the hot water heater would go out. And then we'd make a little bit of money, and then we'd need 4 tires on the car, or whatever it was. It was always such a beat down. And I remember that time I felt it was so hard, because I couldn't even offer this therapy to my son, and he needed it so badly. He was going into middle school. He was struggling emotionally. I knew this therapy would work because I'd seen a lot of friends who'd used it for their children and themselves, and they loved it. And I couldn't even help my own son. And so it was that moment when he said, what if this could help Colton, y'all? That was like a total paradigm shift. It was like, in that moment, I thought, you know what, this whole time I've only been thinking about how it would look if I did this. Not one time did I ever think what this could do for my family, my sweet boy, my family's future. Never did I even think that. And I was like, okay, listen, if this is for him, I will give it a try, because all you mamas know out there, if you put your child in front of you, you will knock down walls to help that child. And that is exactly how I felt in that moment. I'm like, this is for him, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. So I put on my blinders, gave my friend a call and said, all right, I'm in. She's like, oh yeah. So I was like, whatever that means. So I get to work, I do all the things, and y'all, in my first full month with Plexus, I made $1,200 commission. And it was like, not only did I make the $1,000 to cover Colton's therapy, but the extra $200 was like a whisper from the Lord saying, you can do so much more with this. This is an opportunity for you to do something different, because all those years in advertising, not once did I ever feel like I was changing a life, like anything I was doing was mattering. I was making CEOs rich. I was helping, stock prices of a company rise, but I never did anything where I had a husband pick up the phone and call me and say, thank you for what you did for my wife. She's off the couch. She's engaged with our kids. We were considering divorce. She's been in depression for 6 years, and she's now engaged. And I'm so grateful. And I thought, my gosh, that what I have here is life-changing and so much more than what I ever had in my other career. And so at that point, my whole dream shifted, and my whole why is what we call it, shifted of why am I doing this in the first place? First, it was for Colton. Then it shifted to me wanting to be home with my kids. I'd worked my whole life. I'd never been that mom that was home when the kids got home from school, or the mom that walked in with the brownies at the Valentine's party. Never was me. And I had an opportunity to do that. So I was like, okay, if I could do this in 1 month, what if I put my business acumen behind this and really treat this like a business, not just do it on my lunch break? What could I do with it then? And I just switched and said, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to give it a try. Put my blinders back on. And 8 months later, I hit emerald with the company. A few months after that, sapphire, and 3 after that went diamond. It was the most incredible ride, but it was also just this amazing opportunity for me to bless my family, take this Vesta burden of financial stress off my husband, offer my son therapy like never, and put him in a special school even after that I could then afford. The blessings just came and just came. But more than anything, y'all, I tell you what, being able now to share this with my friends who struggled exactly like I did, I know how they felt. I know how that feels to want to be home with your kids and want more. And I actually, with this business and with Plexus, was able to do that. And I know if I could do it, because I was like just the mom next door, absolutely anybody could do it. So you guys jump on this and run with it, because you've got a golden opportunity in your hands. Thanks, you guys.
That was amazing. Thank you so much. I know that relates to so many people, that it's so similar to my story. Same way, we can never get above working so hard, but there was always something. I remember telling my husband, when are we going to be able to relax a little bit? And he said, when we put our time in 15, 20 years, 25 years, he's like, we have to put our time in. And I thought, no, this is the best time, when our kids are little, so I just love that. Thank you so much. So before we tell our next story, since you mentioned that you hit emerald so fast and your ranks, I'm going to bring up our compensation plan for everyone to see. So this is our average income chart for these ranks. So Rosalind mentioned emerald. That's the third one right down here from the top. In 11 months, Roz, did you say? Yeah, 11 months. Mom hit emerald in 9 months, right? 6 months, diamond 11 months. It took me 2.5 years to go diamond, but I can tell you that it's changed my family's life, and I would do it if it took 10 years, right? These are our stories. Bridget, you're going to hear next. She is a diamond. Dr. Stephanie, senior ruby, close to emerald. She just got started last year. Yeah, so amazing stories. I want you to see these numbers, because I want you to see that we're not talking about hobby money. This can be hobby money. It can be that little thing on the side that for date nights and fun times, but it can also be life-changing, legacy-changing income, like you pointed out. So I hope those numbers inspire you to see why we're so passionate about this, right? All right, so I'm going to ask Bridget, beautiful, amazing Bridget, can you please share your story with us?
Oh, my goodness, that was delightful. And you guys, like, I'm over here listening to these ladies who are like professional women and out in the workforce doing all this stuff. My story is so different, but it's amazing how I can still relate to all the mama vibes, the mama feelings. And then, Stephanie, you just even wanting options of where to live and plant yourself, right? So I am Bridget. I'm a 40-something-year-old military wife of a super cute helicopter rescue swimmer. And he lured me into marrying him and traveling around the country for the last 16 years. We have 4 kids together. And, we decided to homeschool before our babies were even born. And before we got married, my husband was like, can I ask you a question? how do you feel about being a stay-at-home mom? I was like, why are you asking me that right now? Like, we're not even that close. And I was like, yes, absolutely. You know, I was just finishing up my master's and I was thinking, okay, guess I won't be using that for a while, right? And I know so many of us have kind of followed that kind of American way, right? There was nothing wrong with it. So many blessings. But you guys, I'm going to share a quick story with you because it's getting into the next point here. When I was a little girl in my Southern California neighborhood growing up, I would go from house to house with all the boys. I was the only girl, and we would sell all the things. I got them selling friendship bracelets and like slingshots, homemade slingshots. And then afterwards, and my parents have pictures of this, I would go home and sit at my desk alone in front of my Holly Hobby wallpaper and pretend that lines and lines of people were like lining up to see me because I was going to help them with something. So I would sell empty like vitamin containers. My mom was a super crunchy mama. I would give like little Bible verses to help people with their problems. I would basically like give a ton of advice, but like charge for it. Yeah, I mean, since childhood, I had big dreams of making a big impact on like lines and lines of people. I also, and this is like in my diaries, you guys, I wanted to be a millionaire. And I never admitted that to anybody until I got married because it just seemed like something weird to say. I don't know. But you guys, from what I have seen over the last 4 years in this business, in sharing my story and sharing these gut health goodies, is that, you know, as children, we stop doing certain things. We tend to stop believing certain things as we get older. We ditch our entrepreneurial spirits because I know that there are a ton of you who went around like selling things in your neighborhood, right? When we also kind of ditched our ability to dream. And that's definitely my story. You know, I was raised in a home where we kind of made it paycheck to paycheck. And guess what? I married somebody who was an amazing, hardworking man. Oh my goodness, best decision after salvation, marrying that man. But whoo, he was like, we are not going into debt. We're all Dave Ramsey. I'm like, yes, sir. Okay. Whoo, you guys, once a month, we went to Chick-fil-A as a family. And I remember how much it costs. It cost $35 to $40 for us to go to Chick-fil-A once a month. That was our outing. That was a blessing. And you guys, we actually didn't fight about finances. Thank you, Lord. But when he brought up the budget and wanted to sit down at the table and talk about the last like 5-10 days of the month, I would feel so sick. Just like, where am I going to cut? Where am I going to pull it back? So you guys, my health started to decline after the birth of our fourth kid. And my friend Corey, man, I trusted her. I was ready. I was like, give me the combo. My husband says he's going to make it work with our budget. And I said I wasn't going to share my journey. But you guys, this is what happens to so many of us. When you start scrolling through the testimonies, all of a sudden your belief starts growing. This happened to me before my own results, which is so bizarre. But I started seeing people earning an income. And I was like, how is she doing this? She's a homeschooling mama too. And she looks kind of normal. I'm kind of normal, you know? But you guys, I sat there that day scrolling testimonials and I was like, gosh, I got to tell my mom, I got to tell my 2 friends from college, and I got to tell my neighbor. So I literally texted them. I was like, I feel like I found something awesome. And they're like, how are you feeling? I'm like, I'm actually going through detox. I haven't felt anything yet, but I just feel like this is really good. You guys, just my belief for my friends and family caused them to join me. They are still with me today, but that first paycheck actually covered almost our entire mortgage of this beautiful home in North Carolina. And here, you know, 4 years later, I am at the top of our company, and financially, even we were able to retire my husband a couple of years ago from his military position, which has been wonderful, 0 complaints, 24 years military. We put in paperwork. This is like this last week, the paperwork is in, and it's March. were free. You guys, that is crazy for me. Like, you don't understand. I'm the frizzy-headed mama who is bringing home this substantial income during my child raising years, not missing a thing. I have a 15-year-old, a 14-year-old, 11-year-old, an 8-year-old, and I get to do this on my own terms, you guys. So, I just want to encourage those of you who might feel like you have been out of the game for so long. Here's what it is. When my friend Corey said, do you want to share your journey, just how you're feeling as you go along in your supplements on social media and maybe like with your mom or a friend, I was like, I cannot imagine adding one more thing. If I add one more thing, like I was feeling low. I was in postpartum, you guys. I was having like regular tension in my head. My hormones were insane. My husband would like put down my hormonal days in his calendar, like in his planner. There was a little red dot. He knew that time of month. That's how bad, you guys. But I remember thinking like, there's just no way. I can't do a business from home. And I feel like this, it's one more thing. Do you guys know what ends up happening? And I know you all know dozens and dozens and dozens, and now probably hundreds of people who, by starting to share, actually Plexus comes in and with the added health benefits and financial lifting, you guys, the obstacles and many stresses of health and provision are lifted and removed. And so that is my story. I have to say too, you know, we don't talk about the culture and community enough, but in Plexus, that's what you're getting as well. You are getting a family. And I know each one of these women, and so many are on your team somewhere, but you are getting friendship and a lifting. And there's something very powerful to community when you're feeding your gut, when you've got all the support and cheerleading, when you've got the free training, and you've got this incredible compensation plan. I mean, I've been studying compensation plans again, you guys, because I've had a couple people approach me about other companies. I will not get into that right now. They do not compare. So if you have a strong stirring in your heart right now for something more, that stirring is your potential. It's something to embrace. Do not squash those dreams that are starting to bubble up again, because you can make your dreams come true. I'm here to say that you can. So if this stay at home, you know, frizzy headed mama can do it, so can you. Read this quote today. I'm going to say really quick. How did it go? Because this is kind of, this really depicts what happened to me. I had to ponder this when I decided to share Plexus and jump on this opportunity. Would you rather be a prisoner of your past or pioneer of your family's future? Because that's what's possible for you.
Woo! Good. Mic drop. That is a good quote. That is hard hitting. Thank you, Bridget. Thank you for that. Thank you for inspiring so many people that regardless of what is in their past or where they're at, or if they're a medical doctor or a stay-at-home mom, or I was 23 when I got started, or mid 40s when you get started, it does not matter. That's what I love, the level playing field here, because we're in a service-based industry and you can do with it what you want to do with it. Like, I just love that. So thank you so much, Bridget. I'm so happy for your family and your husband. I can see it in your face. And this is what I hope you guys are seeing and hearing tonight out of everyone's amazing stories, is just this energy of like, I can't even believe this happened to me. This is so amazing. Like, we want this for you so badly, which is why we do these multiple times a month, to share these stories and inspire you. So my beautiful mother is going to share some stats in the network marketing industry, why this is such a wise choice beyond everything that we've shared tonight, but just a little backstory on us. I got started with these products 7 years ago because my good friend took me to an event like this. I got inspired by stories. I had significant health issues, hormonal issues. I had my first baby, stay-at-home mom, no past experience. I didn't go to college. I was homeschooled my whole life. I was selling things door to door too. I always had that little entrepreneurial spirit though. I had 100 chickens. I was selling chicken eggs off my back porch when Plexus approached me. pet sitting, all of that. So definitely a variety of backgrounds here. I was not that businesswoman either, but Plexus provided me the opportunity to become that businesswoman in my environment with my stay-at-home babies in my country house here. So how incredible is that, right? Such a different variety. And of course, I went right over to my mom and said, you have to try this stuff. Where's your credit card? I'm signing you up. I need to go silver. And I did that. And she, fought me a little bit. But now she is a diamond with Plexus and was a stay-at-home mom for 25 years beforehand. So that's a quick recap of our stories. And it's such a gift to both be diamonds in this company, mother, daughter, and diamonds. So that's awesome. But go ahead, take it away.
Okay.
Give them your stats.
So I want to tell you guys, I'm so impressed by all you ladies. Yes. I am the introvert maybe of the group. And so if you're seeing some of these people and you're like, wow, it's amazing. I want to tell you, before, maybe about 2 years ago, I was terrified to get on a Zoom like this. I hit diamond, not by growing my business on social media, but by talking to people face to face, because that was my realm. When she had her first child, I cried because I could not post a picture of my grandson. I didn't know how to do it on social media. Okay, so that's a true story. But I want to tell you, I was so frustrated because like she's recovering and I can't do it, but she can't help me. But what I knew about myself, okay, first of all, I made this decision to jump into this business because I'm very logical. I understood the value of these products. Once she convinced me to try them, I understood that people needed these because they really do help the masses. I'm a big fan of the show Shark Tank. And when they come up and they say they have this great invention and the sharks won't invest if it only hits like a small number of people. Our product line is affordable. It's super effective. I really appreciate Dr. Stephanie talking about how much this helps people. Also, the background that she has with the work that she had to put in. So you do need to work to make money, but knowing that you're going to have that financial freedom on the other side, that residual income. So our product line is a monthly consumable product line, okay? When I saw that, ding, 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 going off in my head, okay? Logic, logic, logic. Needed product line hits the masses. At first I thought, oh, I wish I would have invented this. I'm so glad I did not invent these products, because what I get with Plexus is I get a shipping department, I get a marketing department, I get a legal team, I get everything that you could possibly need for the grand total of $39.95. And I also get a discount on my products. So over 7 years, I will tell you, I have had so many people come and go in my back office. Okay, they take the products for a while, get off, come right on back. Why? Because they were doing something for them, right? And I've lost 40 pounds with these products and kept it off over a period of 6 years. What we have, and it's not just weight loss, we are actually 50 times more bacteria than you are human cells. This affects every aspect of your life. And I understood that this was going to be a profitable business. I really, really appreciate what Bridget said. And I don't remember what it was. I just lost my thought.
You're on fire.
I'm on fire.
Yes.
Okay, the level playing field. Okay. And then also what Rosalind brought in. She was a marketing and advertising executive. Okay, now I remember the tie-in. So word of mouth. I read a book early on in my career. It's called Contagious. It's not a book about social selling. It is a book about marketing in general. And the stats are 20 to 50% of all purchase decisions are made by word of mouth. So that has always been the best form of advertising. So many people that I talk to these days, they're really intrigued by influencers, right? Social selling influencers. You know what those people have to do? That's not residual income for the most part. Sometimes it can be a little bit, but not like what we have. They have to get new gigs all the time. And then what do? Post with the t-shirt, post with the whatever, talk about how great it is. I mean, I follow a lot of these people and I love them and there's nothing against them, but I don't want to have to buy a new thing like every month. I really love the products that I'm on. I really love the results that I've had over a long period of time. I love how every member of my family needs them and sees true benefits. And so I want to tell you guys, the direct sales industry is in 2017, it had $189 billion in sales as an industry. Forbes has reported a 40% increase in revenue in 2020. Okay, so a stay-at-home business is a very smart decision. Micro entrepreneurs are actually, through social selling, propping up the economy quite a bit with what we've been through. I think everybody has really realized this year, probably more than ever, that it's time to take control of your future. And this is owning your own business in the very best possible way.
Love it. Awesome. Thank you. So much wisdom. So good. Yes. And if 2020 has taught us anything, it is that our health is extremely important, and stability in our income in our company is important, and being able to take that anywhere with you anywhere.
And I want to say one more thing. Sorry, I just realized.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm not telling you that you pay $39.95 and you're going to make the income that we disclose to you. That is through working your business. But I will tell you, at this point in time, as logical as that decision was 7 years ago, I am floored by the amount of money that I make every month right now, kind of like what Bridget said. It is mind-boggling, okay? And so you look at the amount of work that Dr. Stephanie did, and I've said this before, I do make more than a brain surgeon. So we wanted to bring you a very powerful business event, so I just wanted to drop it like it's hot.
Okay. We will leave it right there. So thank you so much for joining us. We hope that this has inspired you, that you've seen yourself in one of our very different, very unique, but similar stories, and that we had this passion and desire and what we were able to bring to our families through it. And we want to pass that on to you. So thank you, Plexus. Thank you for being here, ladies. Thank you for our viewers, and bring someone with you next time. We do this every other Tuesday, and then every Thursday we have our health event that you can jump on to hear about the products. So we are always here for you. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you, Bridget. Thank you, Rosalind. Thank you, Stephanie. Thank you, Mom. And we will see you all next time.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.